Shohei Ohtani is the most talented player in Major League Baseball, which is a shame because he's on the Los Angeles Angels with the second most talented player in MLB baseball. And I don't know how much longer he's actually going to stay there. Now, I know their GM, Perry Minasian, has said that Shohei Ohtani will not be traded at this moment, but that doesn't mean that he's off the block. It also doesn't mean that Shohei Ohtani won't be traded at some point in the 2023 calendar year, because we all know he's hitting free agency soon, and Shohei Ohtani is probably not staying with the Angels. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you the 10 teams that I think have the best chance to trade for Shohei Ohtani within the next year, starting with the least likely team and ending with the most. So make sure you stay to the end to see which team I think has the best chance to get Ohtani this year. Oh yeah, and I'm also giving away a signed Shohei Ohtani Fanatics jersey thanks to today's sponsor, Auction of Champions. Link in the description for the giveaway. Auction of Champions is the #1 sports memorabilia auction house on the internet, and they've been a sponsor of mine for years now. You go to their website, you sign up, let them know that GiraffeNeckMarc sent you, and then you start bidding on whatever sports memorabilia you want. You can get some really awesome pickups on Auction of Champions right now and start building your collection like you can see behind me. Like if you don't win the giveaway, you can bid on a Shohei Ohtani signed jersey, a Mike Trout signed baseball, Derek Jeter signed ball. And as a card man myself, there are a ton of great cards that you can pick up on Auction of Champions. So make sure you head down to the link in the description. Make sure you enter the Shohei Ohtani signed jersey giveaway. This will be announced next Monday in a video, whoever the winner is. Go down, click the link in the description, and start bidding like a champion today. The least likely of the bunch that I think could trade for Shohei Ohtani is the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs have a much better farm system than just a few years ago, and I just like the idea of him playing with another Japanese superstar in the making in Seiya Suzuki. It feels like on an outside chance there could be a fit here. Now, the Cubs would have to give up a ton just like every other team in today's video, and it's got to start with Pete Crow Armstrong, who is their top prospect, one of the top prospects in all of baseball, along with some other names of maybe a Brennan Davis, maybe a Kevin Alcantara. Christian Hernandez, their top international prospect, is probably going to be involved in this as he does play middle infield. Some pitching names that you could hear thrown around: Cade Horton, Jordan Wicks, both former first-round picks. What makes this really hard, though, is they don't have any really good young guys at this exact moment that would make sense in this trade, which is why I have the Cubs the least likely of all these teams. It's not going to happen, but 10's a better number for YouTube videos. That's really what it comes down to. The second team today is going to be the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles farm system is absolutely loaded. They have a plethora of young talent. Now, I don't think Adley Rutschman's going to be on the table, but when you're trading for a guy like Shohei Ohtani, why not? You consider it. You think about it, especially if it means he's going to be there long-term. All of these trades, by the way, I think are hinging on the fact that Shohei Ohtani signs a long-term contract with them, because it's really hard to give up all these prospects for a guy who might just leave in free agency and sign with the team that he actually wants to go to. But let's just assume Adley's not on the table, because that could be crazy. Gunnar Henderson should be on the table. Grayson Rodriguez probably on the table. Jackson Holliday, Colton Cowser. I mean, I just named 4 of the 25 best prospects in Major League Baseball right now that the Orioles have, along with guys like DL Hall, Jordan Westburg, Kobe Mayo, Dylan Beavers, Heston Kjerstad. The Orioles farm system's loaded, and I think they actually have enough prospects to put a package together to go after Shohei Ohtani. It's just you're talking about so much talent in Shohei and a smaller market in Baltimore. Are they going to be willing to give out that money to Ohtani in free agency? That could be something that holds them back, and Ohtani's willingness to maybe go there, because again, it is not one of the major markets, but they definitely have enough to get a player like Shohei Ohtani. And honestly, I'd kind of love to see it. This next team's a little bit crazy, the San Diego Padres. Now, here's why. I don't think it's going to be their farm system. They kind of gutted it when they traded for Juan Soto, and there is still a lot of talent in the farm system. I don't think that's what the trade would be, though. Let's get crazy. And this is why it's, again, towards the bottom, one of the least likely. What if they trade Fernando Tatis to the Angels for Shohei Ohtani? Tatis is signed to a long-term deal. We know he's had some issues in San Diego, and they've been playing well without him. I think Shohei Ohtani would have a bigger impact on this roster than Fernando Tatis Jr. would, and there's not many current players in Major League Baseball that would have immense value like Fernando Tatis, who's got a long-term contract, is still a good player. I know the steroid thing happened, but what about a deal with Fernando Tatis for Shohei Ohtani? The Angels get the long-term security, a lifetime shortstop, a franchise player. It might be one of the best value deals that they could get for Ohtani outside of trading for Julio Rodriguez, which we know isn't happening. They're not trading in division. This is one of my crazier hot takes, but I've been seeing that Acuna for Bo Bichette. What about Tatis for Shohei Ohtani? Absolutely nuts, I'm aware, but I feel like both sides might agree to that. What do you guys think in the comments down below? Roast me, or maybe you agree with me. For this next team, let's go to Canada. I think that this one might be tough as well. Again, likeliness, not that likely. I think once you get to the top 5, you're starting to talk about more reasonable landing destinations, but the Blue Jays definitely, I think, could put a package together that might entice an Ohtani trade, but they are going to have to trade some big pieces. I think if you are going to be bringing in Shohei Ohtani, you probably have to get rid of Bo Bichette. You might have to get rid of an Alek Manoah, and do I think that that's smart? Not necessarily, but Shohei Ohtani is a once-in-a-lifetime generational. We've literally never seen him before. Babe Ruth wasn't like this guy. You make some some crazy moves for him. Their farm system also does have some top-end talent with guys like Ricky Tiedemann or Relvis Martinez and Brandon Barrera, their first-round pick, but this one's going to be a little bit tough. I don't necessarily think this is the most likely landing spot, but they definitely have a combination of prospects and young players at the major league level producing right now that could get a deal done possibly for Shohei Ohtani. Possibly. Again, like I said, it's a little crazy. There really only are a small group of teams that probably have a true amount that would make Shohei Ohtani available. And for the fifth team of like the least likely, but still could happen, the Boston Red Sox. Chaim Bloom's a crazy man. We know as a GM, he needs to get a little bit creative, and I think the Red Sox have enough to get creative to get a Shohei Ohtani. Talk about bringing back the Bambino. The guy is better than him. So what would the Red Sox realistically have to be willing to part with or consider? At the major league level, Rafael Devers feels weird. I don't think that that would make sense for the Angels. I think it would make sense for the Red Sox, especially if they weren't considering paying him big money to play third base. Shohei Ohtani is better. If you're going to pay the two, you pick Ohtani. So it makes more sense from the Red Sox side, not necessarily the Angels, but that's where prospects would have to come in. Marcelo Meyer would 100% have to be a part of this. Tristan Casas probably involved. Ceddanne Rafaela, Nick York, Miguel Bleis, who's a young international prospect coming up, and maybe even some of their pitchers like Brian Mata, but that doesn't feel right. A Blaze Jordan? I don't know. Again, we're starting to get a little bit crazy with these trades, but when you're trading for a guy that's just got value we've never seen before, you kind of try anything. Every team in baseball should want him. He is the most talented player we've ever seen. I'm not saying he's the greatest player of all time, just the most talented. You probably give up almost anything to get him, and I think the Red Sox could. Now we start falling into the, it's a possibility, but also how? And that's going to be the New York Yankees. Now the Yankees farm system is really good. You've got Anthony Volpe, Jason Dominguez, Oswald Peraza, Everson Pereira, but they are lacking pitching talent in the farm system. And I think the Angels are probably going to want some pitching talent, especially when they're getting rid of their best pitcher and their second best hitter. And it's only because he's behind Mike Trout. The other thing that makes it hard for the Yankees is they just don't have that young major league ready talent that a team would necessarily want. I saw a trade that included Gleyber Torres. I'm sorry, but Gleyber Torres is not going to be included in a Shohei Ohtani trade. There's no way. Gleyber's fine, but he is not like the players we've just been naming in this video. And on the pitching side, all their guys are kind of old and in their primes right now, which doesn't make sense for the Angels. So I'm going to include the Yankees because you kind of always have to, especially in these big trades, and they do draft really well, and they do have some really good prospects coming up, like a Roderick Arias. They have some hype that just hasn't gotten the attention yet. Maybe the Angels are interested. Honestly, I might have put the Yankees a little bit too high because these next four teams legit have a chance, I think, to get Ohtani and have packages that make the most sense. And we're getting it started with the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, this doesn't feel like a St. Louis Cardinals trade to me. Feels like they would really have to gut their farm system to get Ohtani, but it makes this team really good, like one of the best teams in baseball if they do it. Let's start it off with the big name, Jordan Walker. Jordan Walker is one of the best prospects, if not the best prospect in minor league baseball right now. He's going to be in the trade. Third base, outfield, whatever it is, he's immensely talented, only 20 years old, and he's probably going to be at the major leagues next year. Mason Wynn, another unbelievably talented prospect. Fun fact, was a two-way guy coming out of the draft. They've decided to make him shortstop. He's been great. Another top 25-30 prospect in baseball. They've also got some pitching in Gordon Graceffo, Tink Hence, who's looked really good as a 20-year-old. Drafted Cooper Jerpy in the first round. And at the major league level, I mean, Dylan Carlson still exists as a throw-in. I don't know, maybe you give him Jack Flaherty because the dude hasn't done much. I think the Cardinals farm system is what's the most enticing. I don't necessarily think they have the major league talent to get it done, but when you start a trade with Jordan Walker and Mason Wynn, yeah, you pick up the phone. That would be a lot to get. Probably still not enough though. And definitely not the best someone can give. Because I think the San Francisco Giants can do just a little bit better. And while they also don't have the major league talent to get this trade like going, I don't see it. Another farm system that has a lot of top end talent. And it gets started with Marco Luciano, who's just, I don't think he's a shortstop of the future, but third base, he could be really good. The talent is through the roof with Marco. Kyle Harrison has looked phenomenal in his 2 minor league seasons thus far as left-handed pitcher. They need pitching. Throw out some names like Luis Matos, Grant McCray, Reggie Crawford, two-way player. Fun idea. Reggie Crawford throws 100 and hits nukes. Who else did that? Shohei Ohtani. Maybe this is also why the Giants don't want it, because they go, we got Reggie Crawford. Not that I'm saying Reggie Crawford's going to be the next Ohtani, but I mean, it is a fun comparison to talk about. Averson Arteaga looks good as a shortstop middle infield guy. Maybe you would include Logan Webb if you had to get it done. If you were a Giants fan and they said you have to include Logan Webb in the trade to get Shohei Ohtani, I think you still get it done. You still pull the trigger. It's Shohei Ohtani. You take him any way you can. Second to last team, second team most likely to trade for Shohei Ohtani, I think is the New York Mets. And no, this isn't Mets bias. There's real reasoning behind this. One, Billy Epler, the guy that got Shohei Ohtani to the Angels when it felt like this was maybe not the landing spot for him. Billy Epler's got that relationship. And I think the Mets are definitely going to be players. The Mets also have a lot of top-end prospect talent that is close to, if not already, major league ready. Francisco Alvarez, the #1 prospect in baseball, catching prospect. He's a beast. Now, the Angels got O'Hoppe. We understand. I get it. But Francisco Alvarez is just, he mashes. Brett Beatty, third base of the future for the Angels. Really good left-handed bat. Alex Alex Ramirez, a 5-tool potential outfielder who's been flying up the rankings this year, been getting a lot more hype. Looks like he could be a really fun, exciting young prospect. And just to name off some more hitters, Kevin Parada, Jet Williams, Ronnie Mauricio, and Mark Vientos, all guys who are hovering around the top 100 prospects in MLB, and all guys who have some really good talent. The problem is there's not a whole lot of pitching talent that the Mets could realistically give up. I don't think they care about Tylor McGill and David Peterson, guys. Stop including them in the Angels trades for Ohtani. It's just, I don't see why the Angels would do that. They're good, but they're not Shohei Ohtani trade pieces right now. And I think major league talent-wise, a guy like Jeff McNeil could be involved in this trade too, just because he is so good, he is so cheap. He's like a bonus add-in to the prospects to maybe get it done. But the thing that scares me is the Mets don't have the pitching, and surely the Angels want pitching, but the relationship with Epler, top-end talent that the Mets have, is among some of the best in minor league baseball. I think the Mets could get this done realistically, and I would be so happy. But like I said, I don't think they're the most likely team to get it done, because I think the most likely team to trade for Shohei Ohtani has to be the Los Angeles Dodgers. Nobody in baseball has as much talent everywhere as the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's dripping out of their bodies, coming out of their ears. From a minor league level, just guys that are prospect eligible. Diego Cartaya, sick catching prospect. Bobby Miller, sick pitching prospect. Miguel Vargas, Michael Busch, Andy Pages, all absolute dogs at the plate when you're talking prospect hitters. That doesn't include Ryan Pepio, Gavin Stone, Maddox Bruns, who I think is going to be real good. They traded a bunch for a guy, Nick Frasso, who maybe. These are all just prospects that the Dodgers have that they will probably move in a heartbeat for Ohtani. Didn't even mention Jose Ramos, Eddie Leonard. And then again, at the major league level, Gavin Lux is a throw-in. I'm not going to count him as a major piece, but he's a throw-in, and he still is probably going to be a good player. I mean, he's good. Dustin May, I bet you would be involved, and Dustin May coming off of an injury, we know how explosive his stuff is. Angels could use a pitcher right now. Ryan Pepio is another guy. The Dodgers probably have the most talent and the most guys to just pull from and give to the Angels. Will the Angels do it? I don't know. Artie Moreno's weird, but he's also selling the team, and maybe the new owner will sell him, and maybe the new owner, if he comes in, trades him to the Dodgers. It feels weird as a crosstown rivalry to give one of the best players to ever play the game of baseball, talent-wise, to your rival in the same city. But if you really want to get the most bang for your buck, the Dodgers probably are your team, and I think are the most likely to make a trade for Shohei Ohtani if anybody were to do it. I'd love to know who you guys think is most likely to trade for Shohei Ohtani in the 2023 season at some point. It feels unlikely that they don't trade him. How do you not? Because he's leaving in free agency. He surely has to be. But it's also weird because Artie Moreno needs to keep him in order to have the maximum value when he sells this team. It's bizarre. It's weird. I'm not saying he's going to get traded this offseason, but I am saying that Shohei Ohtani trade rumors are real, and I think that for the right deal, they will pull the trigger. So who do you think makes that move if it's done? Down in the comments below. If you did enjoy the video, please do drop a like on it. It really does help support the channel, as well as subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the content coming at you. Follow me on all my social media at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links are in the description. Thank you guys for watching. You know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload. Click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another video. Bye.